NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Jay All Day Sports Show. Jay Talks Ball episode 2. This is our Super Bowl edition, guys. I'm trying out a new streaming platform, so if you see any issues, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if the volume's okay. Let me know if the video's coming back okay. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot to unpack, guys. The NFL season is over right now, but we are going to be talking about what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do in this upcoming offseason. Some of the big major news that's happening in today's sports world. Guys, the first thing I want to talk about, Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, is officially becoming the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, guys. They officially hire him today. Nancy Amerald, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for letting me know everything is looking and sounding great here, guys. The NFL season is a wrap. Our Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Let's go. Let's go. Philadelphia, all the news outlets are saying about they're expecting 1 million people to be at the parade. It's supposed to be on Friday. So, unfortunately, I'm in Los Angeles. I won't be able to attend the Super Bowl parade. But if any of you guys are, make sure you put those videos online so we can see just how much fun everyone is having at the parade. We're going to recap the Super Bowl a little bit first. Then we're going to get into some off-season stuff as we progress through this 1 hour episode, guys. The first thing we're going to talk about, Eagles blowout. They just straight out blew out the Chiefs. I made a video. Make sure you check it out on my page. 5 reasons why the Philadelphia Eagles blow out the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry, guys, I got some dog hair floating around all over the place. And I was right on the money, man. I didn't think the Chiefs' offensive line would be good enough to compete with the Eagles' defensive line, and they weren't. Straight up, guys, they just weren't good enough. The Eagles' defensive line ate all day long. All day long. Zach Bond, 7 tackles. Josh Sweat, 6 tackles. 2.5 sacks. 2 tackles for loss. Milton Williams had 2 sacks. Jordan Davis had a sack. Jalen Hunt, a rookie, had a half a sack. Tremendous defensive performance from Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. And they rushed 4 all day long, guys. Just straight up only rushed 4. They got away with just rushing 4. And this way they could drop the other 7 guys into coverage, man. So Mahomes didn't have a lot of options in this spot. He just straight out, flat out, didn't have a lot of options. It was great to watch, guys. The Philadelphia Eagles just absolutely dominated. I thought they were going to, give it to them, right? But, man, what a blowout. Going in, at one point, 34-0. At one point, it was 34-0. The Philadelphia Eagles were just flat out dominating, man. Unbelievable performance by the Philadelphia Eagles. Just flat out incredible, man. What a performance. Eagles got a lot to do this offseason. The Chiefs have a lot to do. The Chiefs have a lot of free agencies, guys. A lot of free agents, man. I did a little bit of my research this morning, and if we take a look at the Chiefs offseason, they're busy, man. They got a lot to do. They got a lot of key free agents, man. DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Watson, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Carson Wentz. All these guys are free agents, man. 28 players are free agents for the Chiefs. That's a crap ton. The Eagles only have 15, right? So with that huge number, 20 of them are unrestricted, and there's some restricted free agents and some exclusive rights free agents that the Chiefs are going to have to deal with this offseason. So they got some work to do if they want to run it back. Jalen Hurts, what an incredible performance, man. What a great performance from MVP, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. 17 to 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have that one bad interception, but, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, he probably shouldn't have threw that ball, probably should have took the points there, but he didn't let that affect the rest of his game going forward, right? And he balled out. He added another 11 carries, 72 yards on the ground, guys. 6.5 yards per carry, 1 tutty. Saquon Barkley. The Chiefs did a great job containing Saquon Barkley. Absolutely incredible job. Like, just unbelievable job. Straight up. They 25 for 57, under 2.5 yards per carry. That's not good enough. From what Lane Johnson was saying in some post-game interviews, that he was hurt, Dickerson was hurt, Mekhi Becton got hurt in the game, and Cam Jurgens has been dealing with those back injuries, guys. So, you know, they were banged up a little bit, and it showed. They didn't have the best performance, the offensive line, but man, Mahomes, 21 of 32, 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them were in garbage time. He got sacked 6 times, threw 2 picks, 1 being a pick 6. Extremely, extremely impressive, guys. And the Eagles did a great job stopping the running backs. Kareem Hunt, 3 for 9. Perine, 1 for 8. Pacheco, 3 for 7. Xavier Worthy had a day, 8 for 57, but a lot of those yards and one of the touchdowns was in garbage time, right? Kelsey, 4 catches, only 39 yards, guys. Very unimpressive, uninspiring performance from Travis Kelce, right? Hopkins only 2 catches. Juju Smith-Schuster only 2 catches. Hollywood Brown only 2 catches, guys. So, a lot to work on for the Chiefs offense, right? They really need to go out and find a left tackle, whether that's free agency. Ronnie Staley, the left tackle from the Ravens, is becoming a free agent. Maybe you bring him in. They definitely got to do some work free agents-wise, guys, because this offensive line is just flat out not good enough. The Eagles are Super Bowl champions, 40-22, guys, and that score wasn't even that close. It was a straight blowout from pillar to post, from whistle to whistle. Very, very impressive stuff, guys. Very, very impressive. I don't even know what else to say. The Eagles had a tremendous game plan. Vic Fangio, incredible performance. The Eagles had 21 first downs. Chiefs only had 12. So they both were not very efficient on third down. Both defenses did really good on third down. The Chiefs were 3 for 11. The Eagles were 3 for 12, right? So not the most inspiring on third down for these guys. The Eagles ran 70 plays. Chiefs only ran 49, man. Huge discrepancy there. So that's kind of the way it goes, guys. Kind of the way it goes. Total yards, 345 for the Birds, 275 for the Chiefs. 17 of 23 for Hurts, 21 of 32 for the Mahomes and the Chiefs. Sacks, 6 sacks for 31 yards for Patrick Mahomes. Only 2 sacks for 11 yards. They just ran the ball better too. Eagles, 135 yards on the ground, only 49 for the Kansas City Chiefs, guys. You're not going to get it done doing that. You're not going to win games. You're not going to be a successful playoff team if you're only running the ball for 49 yards. I was very surprised that they didn't game plan up, draw up more quarterback runs for Patrick Mahomes. He only had like 25 yards on the ground. That's not going to get it done, especially when you don't have a run game at all whatsoever. Pacheco and Kareem Hunt were MIA in that game. So dialing up some called runs from Mahomes probably would have been the thing to do. But the offensive line struggled mightily against the Eagles' front seven. I thought that was going to happen as well, guys. So, penalties, 8 for the Eagles, 7 for the Chiefs. And the turnover game. The turnover game was huge, guys. Very, very, very huge. 3 turnovers, including a pick 6 by Cooper DeJean. And 1 turnover for the Eagles. They had 1 fumble loss for the Chiefs, 2 picks. And the time of possession, guys, was huge. Time of possession was incredibly huge in this game. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 14,000 subscribers on YouTube, guys. Thank you so much. 36 minutes Almost 37 minutes of time of possession for the Philadelphia Eagles. Only 23 minutes of time of possession for the Chiefs, man. If you lose the turnover battle and you lose the time of possession, you're going to lose every playoff game. That's the way it goes. Philadelphia Eagles are your Super Bowl 59 champions. Now, the offseason gets very interesting, right? For a lot of these teams. I'm going to do a mock draft for the Chiefs later today, guys. But where do we go? Where do these teams go from here? There's some really intriguing off seasons coming up. I'm going to talk about a few teams, one being the Cincinnati Bengals, right? With Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, they had one of the highest firepower offenses in the NFL. The Bengals are in a perpetual state of needing new offensive linemen, but this year their biggest bugaboo was that defense, guys. The defense, not very good at all. One of the worst defenses. A little bit better in the second half, right? But they were tremendously bad. Tremendously bad. All year long as a whole. Trey Hendrickson is in the last year of his deal. He was the sack leader in the NFL. So what do they do with him? Jamar Chase is in the last year of his deal. They got to re-up him. T. Higgins is a free agent. So it's going to be a busy offseason coming up for the Cincinnati Bengals, man. It says the Bengals have around $45 to $47 million in cap space, depending on who gets re-signed and all that good stuff. So do they re-sign Jamar Chase to a big deal and give him a front-loaded bonus so the annual cap hit's not as bad? That could be very interesting as well, guys. So for me, in this spot, they're going to tag T. Higgins. Probably tagging him is probably the best thing to do for the team, not for T. Higgins, obviously. The tag's going to come in around $25, $26 million, but on the open market, T. Higgins is probably going to get in that $29 to $34 million range, I would assume, right? So the Cincinnati Bengals have a big offseason ahead of them. Next up, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns, guys. What's up, Pablo? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I'm trying out the Streamlabs chat now. Trying to figure out how to do this whole Streamlabs thing. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but we'll get it figured out as the season goes along. We're going to talk about the Browns a little bit. Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the NFL, has requested a trade. He obviously isn't getting any younger and wants to compete for a championship. Hey, Myles, Philly's looking pretty good. And Pablo, I actually think the Houston Texans are in play for Myles Garrett this offseason. Yeah, I think the Commanders are in play. I think the Chargers could be in play. I think the Bills are in play. I think the Ravens are in play. He wants to go to a winner. The Commanders make sense. The Lions make sense. The Packers make sense. The Bears make sense, with Ben Johnson being the new head coach over there. So where does Myles Garrett go, guys? Let me know in the comments where you think he could potentially go this offseason. They just owe Deshaun Watson a shit ton of money. He re-tore that Achilles in the rehab. He's probably not going to play all year long. So they got to figure out the quarterback situation. Jameis Winston is a free agent, so I don't know what they do. They got a ton of draft picks, guys. Their GM has a busy offseason, guys. All right, now the Saints. No, I think the Bears are in play. With Ben Johnson being the new offensive coordinator there, that offense is going to get way better. And the Bears in a couple years are going to be competing. I'm telling you, Pablo, I think the Bears are going to compete, man. I really do. Ben Johnson knows how to run an offense. And he handpicked going to the Bears. He could have had any of the 6 openings as a coach. He chose the Bears for a reason. DJ Moore on the outside, Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams. We'll see what they do with DeAndre Swift. But I do think the Bears are going to compete sooner rather than later, guys. I really do. And the Saints, what are they going to do with Derek Carr? You know, who has $10 million guaranteed for 2025 and another $30 million scheduled to kick in March 15th. So what do? Are they keeping Derek Carr around? They're going to move to Spencer Rattler? I don't know. Kellen Moore wants to pass the ball. Derek Carr, as you all know, guys, he's not one of my favorite players at the quarterback position in the NFL. So they got a lot of work to do. The Saints collapsed. I told people in the beginning of this season that the Saints were not going to be good. I nailed that on the head as well, guys. So Mike Vrabel has taken over for the head coaching spot at the New England Patriots. A defensive-minded guy, right? So where do they go? Do they bring in a guy like T. Higgins? I mean, if you're Drake May, you want T. Higgins all day. They'll probably be able to get more money, T. Higgins and his team from a team like the Patriots than the Bengals, because the Bengals, as we all know, don't like to spend a lot of money. They rarely do. They're a kind of, bum organization in that aspect, guys. I think the Bears could surprise some people. I think Arizona is a few pieces away from competing as well. But the Commanders, I think, are going to ball out. What other teams could be a surprise? I like the Dolphins if they could get some offensive line help for Tua. But look out for the Broncos, man. Look out for the Broncos to make a run. The Chargers are right there, too. I honestly think that the Chiefs might not win the division next year, guys. Pablo, I like Carolina's offensive line. I just don't know if they're ready to compete-wise, skill position. Jonathan Brooks hurt himself again last year. Bryce Young did look a lot better. The offensive line is coming along there. But Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, I'm not scared of them. The tight end position, what do they have? That guy Sanders, I think his name is. I'm not scared of their offense. And their defense is trash. So I don't think Carolina is going to be competing anytime soon. I just don't. I can't get my head around saying that they're going to be the team to surprise people next year. I don't think Carolina is in that regard. The Falcons need to work on their pass rush. I think that division is still the Buccaneers to lose, but we'll see what happens. Patriots, they need offensive line help. They need to put some skill position players around Drake May, who look pretty damn good, right? So, $110 million in cap space the Patriots have, guys. So they're going to be spending some money this offseason. Patriots are definitely going to be spending some money. The Jets got to figure out their shit too. New coach Aaron Glenn and GM Darren Moogie. I think that's how you say his name. Where did he come over from? Yeah, I like the Texans too, man. I thought they were going to have a better year than they had this year. That offensive line definitely regressed more than I thought it was going to, Pablo. Tunsil's getting paid all this money and he's not playing like it, right? So they need to upgrade the offensive line a little bit, in my opinion. And we'll see how these guys, is Stephon Diggs going to be in the cards for them, coming back off an injury? They might get him on a one-year prove-it deal. Nico Collins, he had his injuries this year. Tank Dell with the injuries. A lot of injuries. But the offensive line is what made C.J. Stroud regress, in my opinion, guys. I don't think C.J. Stroud is going to be this one-year flash in the pan like a Robert Griffin. I like C.J. Stroud going forward. I think he's going to be extremely competitive for years to come. Yeah, so they're the teams I'm looking at. The draft is going to be very interesting too. What do the Titans do with number 1? Do they trade back? For me, they need a quarterback, man. Cam Ward seems to be who everybody thinks is the number 1 guy. Shedeur Sanders, very competitive guy, very accurate passer. Is he going to be a top 5 guy? Probably. I've been mocking him to the Giants a lot. That makes the most sense to me. Gets to play with a guy like Malik Neighbors. I love that. I love Malik Neighbors. He's one of my favorite players in last year's draft. If you guys follow my content, he has been extremely impressive on the outside for the Giants. The Giants and the Saquon situation is pretty shitty, but, Yeah, I agree. I think C.J. Stroud is going to get paid big-time money. I'm a big fan of C.J. Stroud. But this is the window. When you have a young, controllable quarterback, that's when you want to make things happen. I'm thinking the Titans probably go. It's going to be Abdul Carter or Cam Ward, in my opinion. Do they trade back? Let the Browns come up, take Cam Ward, or let the Giants come up, take Cam Ward, get a second-round pick to swap with them. That sounds like a money play to me as well. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this week's live stream. We did about 20 minutes, trying to get to about a half an hour. I'm still figuring out this, whole Streamlabs situation. But in NFL news, offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to the Saints, leaving the Philadelphia Eagles. Super Bowl broke a record 126 million viewers to watch my Birds win it all, baby. Go Birds! Yeah, and then on these live streams, we're going to be breaking down the week's news in the NFL. We're going to be talking about the draft. We're going to be talking about free agency, talking about your favorite teams. I'm going to go through the draft stuff all off season. I think I'm going to do the Chiefs today in a long-form video, guys. So make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to all of my content. Yeah, Pablo, I'm not a Will Levis guy at all. I think he is going to be out. I don't think he's going to be here for us, for the Titans fans. He's going to go to the bench. I think they bring in Cam Ward. That's what I would probably do. Mike Vrabel is a defensive-minded guy, though. Pairing Jeffrey Simmons with a guy like Abdul Carter can make that defense elite. So maybe they do that, guys. I'm not sure where the Titans go. We might be seeing a trade. We might see a trade. Titans trade back a couple picks, probably with the Browns or the Giants, to get Abdul Carter. That makes a lot of sense. Shedeur Sanders makes sense for them as well. So we'll have to see how that goes, guys. I appreciate you guys so much coming in on the live streams, checking out the content. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all your support this NFL season. I'm still figuring out this whole live stream, TikTok, YouTube, just trying to figure it all out. But we're getting there, guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you